Today I'm going to show you how to make a shortcut for your home screen so that you can have it launch a variety of applications depending on what you want. The very first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need a menu action. As you can see, I usually search in the list of actions in shortcuts because there's a lot of actions there and I know what I'm looking for. You can of course scroll through to find it. So if you tap in the search bar, then you'll see scripting. And then if you scroll down here, then you've got choose from menu. And you also have later down, you've got choose from list. We want a menu here because a menu is like saying, okay, if I say this, I want you to do that. Whereas a list is, if I choose this, I get this. Whatever this is. It might be spaghetti, it might be tomatoes, it might be your email application. So here we have a menu. At the moment, we've got 1 and 2 as our options. Now, this is going to be for my work, so I'm just going to keep it very simple, and I'm going to have mail and calendar. And then what I want to do in here is I want to open an app. And now, if I search for exactly open app, then I will find this action, which is called open app. And as you can see, it says it finds the specified application. Now, open app, when I tap on choose, allows me to search. So then if I type mail, I can add mail, and if I do the same thing again, then I can choose calendar, which will then give me mail and calendar as my options. However, I would like an extra option here, which is I want to be able to clock in or out. And my clocking in and out is something that I do with a shortcut. So in this case, I actually want to run a shortcut, which you can see here. And then you've got the option of all of your different shortcuts sorted alphabetically. And because in my case, I know what it's called, I'm looking for clock in and out. And you can choose show while running. This means that this screen that you see here with all of these different actions will show when that shortcut runs. If you leave that on, I'm going to toggle that off because I don't need to see what it's doing. It will just do it for me. So I've got 3 actions here, and that's great. So let's see what happens if I run it. If I press run, then it gives me the options: mail, calendar, clock in, clock out. All right, let's go to my calendar. Is there anything interesting? Afraid not. All right, back to shortcuts. But that worked. That did what we wanted it to do. Now, let's get a little bit fancier. Say, for example, when I'm reading my email, I want my volume to be set pretty low because sometimes people at work send me videos which I need to check for something. Then let's add something here. So before I open my email, it's going to set the volume. So we can drag that one right down here. And for example, when checking my calendar, okay, well, I usually check my calendar first thing in the morning when I'm not very wide awake. So let's set my screen brightness, okay, let's burn those retinas and set my screen brightness to 100%. However, clocking in and out. Well, in my case, my clock in and out action actually already does this, but you could very easily have it set do not disturb if you're clocking in, for example, and you can have it just turned off, turned on, or until I leave, so that when I leave work, it will automatically turn that off for me when I clock out. Of course, this would be best to do inside the clock in and clock out action, but that's beside the point. We're just demoing here. Now, there is an awful lot of things that you can do here based on actions that you're choosing. So, for example, you might want to add a shopping list action to your home screen where you add an item to Todoist, or you could create a Trello card, add something to reminders, depending on what application you use to track what groceries you need. And that will be where you can go into doing something like using a list. But in this case, we have our options. Okay, we have mail, calendar, clock in, clock out. Now, I would like a little prompt to remind me that what I'm doing here is work-related. So let's see if I can find an appropriate work-related emoji. A briefcase, that will do. Perfect. Now, from the share screen, I can directly add a shortcut to my home screen. However, I'm just going to go into the settings area first to show you what other things you can do. As you can see here, at the moment I've got a blue icon with a magic wand. Not very exciting, does not mean work to me. Now, our work colour is orange, and I work in the IT department, so I'm sure I can find something with like a laptop or a computer here to be an appropriate icon for me. Let's go with the laptop there. Perfect. Great. So I've changed that. Now, you can choose to show this in the widget. You could show it in your share sheet. We don't want that. We want to put it on our home screen. Now, there is one extra option that you can do when you're setting the icons, which is you can specifically say that you want a home screen image. So that's where you can take a photo or select a photo. Now, I have any photos which are particularly ideal for this, and I quite like the orange icon with the laptop on it, because that's quite simple and plain, and it shows to me what I'm really looking for. So let's go back here. Now, in the settings area, just the same as under the share sheet, I have the option to add it to my home screen. So let's do that. As you can see, Shortcuts has now opened Safari, and it's telling me that if I tap on the share sheet icon and go to add to home screen, then I can give it a name. And I can change it. So my shortcut can have one name, and the actual icon on my home screen can have another. Or you can use one of these ASCII characters, ASCII characters to be precise, to add the blank character if you really don't want a name. In my case, I'm afraid I'm a bit old school. I still like having the names for some things. For a lot of applications, it's muscle memory. But with things like this where you're playing around, it's nice to have the name to start with to prompt you. You can always change it later. So let's add that to my home screen. And if we look at my home screen, here it is. So let's see what happens. I tap on it. And this is the little thing that we were telling you about in the podcast. It does that flashy thing where it goes between apps. However, this is an iPad Pro. It's pretty darn powerful. So it doesn't take that long. Now, as you can see, I've got my briefcase, which just doesn't do anything. I'm tapping on it, which you can't see, but I am tapping on it. It's not doing anything. I've got my mail, my calendar, clock in, clock out. So let's go back to my calendar again, and oh, look, still just as boring as it was before, I'm afraid. So that's how you create a shortcut, and you can add it to your home screen. I hope you've enjoyed the screencast and that it's been useful to you, and I look forward to talking to you again in the next episode of Automators.